Wanted to say really quickly that this Find Your Instagram community thing is part of our Instagram content planning course. And the reason why we made it was because it's really freaking hard to make content. And it's like, I think for me, the way I first started doing it was just like, all right, I just need to make really great content. And it was kind of too hard to get there. So I'm like a strategy person. I like to figure out like, what are ways that I can kind of give myself a creative brief that can help me like unlock really fun, cool ideas and give myself a little bit of a box, because when I'm just like create amazing ideas, it's kind of overwhelming, and I have too many too, and they don't all make sense. So we were like, okay, what are some of the strategies that we've used, and putting them all together. So let's get started. First of all, hey everybody, my name is Puno. Legally, I got it changed to Puno. So my last name is not Dos Tres. For those Spanish speakers out there or people who took Spanish 101, it's just a play on Puno, Dos Tres. That's that. And then I legally changed my first name to Puno, and my last name is already Puno. So that's the confusion there. That's my cat also, Muad'Dib. On the bottom, we have matching berets. Okay, so I'm the founder of ilovecreatives. You just met Sean, Kresia, and Emma. They're also part of the team. They're waving. And also People Map, which is an Instagram marketing tool. So, okay, let's just dive into it, because this is the question that I get the most. If I had to be like, what question do I always get? It's how do I grow my Instagram account? Or sometimes I even get the question like, how do I get people to follow me? Which I don't know about you guys, but I don't like that question. I feel like it's just so, me, and not really thinking about other people. So what I was thinking about when I was trying to figure out what is growth, like how do you create great content? How do you grow your followers? And I was kind of putting my UX hat on and thinking about like the user journey or the customer journey. So what are the ways that someone would actually even land on your profile? And this is all really obvious for us, but it's a comment that you commented on someone's profile. It's a mention or a share. It could be the explore page if you're lucky. It could be ads if you have the money. And it could also be someone saying like, yo girl, have you seen that cat? Like this cat right here. That I feel like that's probably happened with some of you guys if you have cats on Instagram. But all of these ways that people land on your profile are all rooted in communities. And what I mean by that is that comment that like you wrote on, there was some like-minded feeling that happened there that like got you to wanting to engage with that person. And like those people who are all commenting on that, you guys are like a tiny micro community. And the same thing with like mentions or shares. Like if I get shared or mentioned by some kind of person that I'm collaborating with, we're in this little micro community. And the same thing with explore pages. They kind of bucket it in like categories of shop, fashion, cats, nature, ASMR, whatever. But those are all little micro communities. And even with ads, they call it lookalike audiences, like that is also a community of people. And then even when you're someone saying like, have you seen this cat? Like you don't just know that person, like, or that person isn't just like a complete stranger. There's some of these connections that have happened that have like brought you guys together, and those are rooted in community. Can you tell that I've watched devs? Does anybody? There's always a reason. No, I'm kidding. So then that begs the question of how do I find my community? This was the question that really kind of flipped the switch, flip the switch on like what I need to be looking for. Where do I need to get started when in terms of like figuring out how to create content and figuring out how to grow better or more strategically? Because like y'all know, remember when Mace, oh my gosh, I'm totally throwing Mace under the bus. But like when Mace was buying followers, that's not a community. That's just a lot of followers. That's just bots. You know, like what you want. And I was reading a lot of people's when they were saying like what they want to grow and why they want to grow. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling like because we're all digital, there's been a shift of people really wanting to make like real connections online and not feeling like, you know, oh, this is just Instagram and whatever, it's superficial. Like, no, this is actually a tool that we can use to connect each other. And sure, people abuse it, but there's like a lot of great things that have come of it. And I mean, I'm like the number one person that will say that because I left my job like 5 years ago, had absolutely no friends in Los Angeles, and Instagram like helped me make friends. So I feel like let's like look into and dive into how to find your community. And by the way, this isn't just for people who feel like they have communities. This is most definitely for people if you don't even know who you are yet. Because when I had left my job, I mean, I was UX director at Activision and I quit that. So I didn't know like who I was anymore. And I didn't know like what I cared about. I didn't know like what my passion was or whatever. So I needed to kind of figure out who I was too. And I kind of did that through Instagram, to be honest. I mean, not just Instagram, but you know, like you could see it if you scroll. So when you find communities, this is when you start to form your perspective. Like you're gonna see all this content, right? And you're seeing what all these other people are doing. And in your mind, there's things that are happening. They could be negative, they could be positive. You could be saying like, I want more connection, or I love how this photo makes me feel, or man, like this isn't informative enough. I really want to learn more about this. Like, it's just like very vague. I want to be like way more transparent than this. But as you're like looking into all these different communities and all this different content, you are like subconsciously like being an opinionated person and forming what your perspective is on content. So when you're talking or when I'm talking about like what is really good content, I always go back to this kind of formula. And it's not like straight up 50%, but the idea is that really good content hits it in two ways. It's like context and your spin. And like this was kind of reiterated for me too when I took a stand-up class last year, and that's all comedians are trying to do. They're always trying to find like what is like that thing that everybody feels, and then what's my spin on it. And it's kind of the same thing with content. You want to be able to have something, some idea, some feeling that's happening out there. And then you want to be able to add your spin on it and your twist on it. And it doesn't have to be like your context and like what's going out there. It doesn't have to just be pop culture or news. Like it could be a feeling. For example, I feel that a lot of people right now are rethinking what they want to do in life because some of them unfortunately lost their jobs, or it's just like you're home a lot more and you have more time to think. So I'm feeling like that's what's happening right there. And then like my spin is, what do I do with that? Like, what do I think about that? How do I think people are going to change? Well, I mean, I just kind of said it right now, but that's kind of what you're always looking for, is that magic, context, and spin. So the goal here is you want to create content that helps your community just get you. Like I put this like graph or is it a spectrum? Let's call it a spectrum. And on the left side of the spectrum is imposter syndrome feelings, you know, like, oh my God, I'm just copying this thing, or, oh, I've seen this before kind of deal. And then on the other side of the spectrum is, wait, what's going on? Like, I don't get it. It's like all over the place. Like, you know? And then what you want to do is you're going to try to be in the middle, and you want to get kind of that sweet spot where your potential community, when they see your content, they're like, oh my God, like this was made for me. Like, I get this. And I'm not saying that you should just go for that straight away, because there's no way. Like, you're always going to start either in the posture syndrome, or you'll always start in the wait, what area. I mean, I definitely did too. And even when I personally evolve, it always changes up as well. Like, so context and your spin will continue to change. And so just remember that it's okay. It's okay to feel imposter syndrome. That's just like a trigger that is helping you understand, oh, okay, I need to try a little bit harder, or think of new ways, or find new strategies. You will continue to find new ways to communicate your perspective. Some people call this art. I don't call it that, but like some people do. And that's the whole point, right? Like, I mean, this grandma here, some soul, or maybe she did it herself, showed her how to use a camera. She's well over her 70s and is just thriving. Like, what? I mean, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, oh my God, I get it. Like, I get you, little grandma. She is. Glamnista is like, grandma is living her best life. Yes. Yeah, man. So whenever you feel this like, imposter syndrome, this like, I'm all over the place, I feel like I'm doing so many things, like that's totally normal. And that's going to keep happening to you for the rest of your life, because you're always going to evolve. But just remember, like, you know, like those are just information cues to kind of get you to like scoot it more in the middle. And it doesn't have to be quite like perfectly in the middle. So the first thing I want you guys to do right now is open Instagram, and I want you to go to your profile. So if any of you have downloaded the slides, what you can do is you can screen capture your profile and then add it to your Instagram audit. Let me turn off my phone. Oh boy. So, okay. So now what I want you to do is add your username and then the date of the audit. In our course, we do like a really intense audit that a lot of social media freelancers and consultants like do, but you know, we're just gonna do a very mini version. That's why it says mini version there. Okay. The first thing is when you look at your profile, and don't you scroll, like just stay right there. I want you to, at some point today or tomorrow, just ask someone, can you describe what my account is about from my pic bio stories post? Just like, tell me what you think. Because what we want to know is it aligned? Is it aligned to what you're trying to convey? And it's okay if it's all over the place. Like mine is for sure all over the place. But like when I ask, actually, let me ask Sean. Is this a good time?
Hello.
So, hello. I mean, you can be mean.
Okay.
So how would you describe my account?
Very playful. Don't think you take yourself too seriously. I wouldn't necessarily, looking at it, know like 100% that you're a web designer, but I feel like you've moved past that. So I feel like Yeah, I don't know. Definitely everything that you post is really silly in you. I think that it's a great representation of who you are in real life. But
Cool. Okay. Oh, but
oh no, no, but
I was like, but no, I'm kidding. We were all okay. See, that was a little moment of vulnerability, but cool. So actually, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about putting that I am a designer because sometimes I do write like in other bios that I'm a digital designer. I don't know why I left it out. I think it just ran out of characters, but I think that's might be important for people to know, like that that's the case. That's really good to know. So now I'm going to ask myself, be a little introspective, like, what is my Instagram all about? Why did I start it in the first place? And what did I see that was missing? Like, what was my spin? And I think that I'll start with the first question, which was, why did I start my account? Honestly, I did it because I wanted to play and I wanted to, like I said, I had like left my job. So I was like, I really want to play and find happiness again because I was like really down in the dumps. And I just used Instagram as a way to do that and experiment and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you had first said that that's what it feels like. It's just like it's fun and it's not too serious because that's kind of like my parameter for just life. Like I'm like, okay, girl, you still having fun? You need to have fun. And then what did I see that was missing? I think that's what I saw that was missing. It was really like in myself. I saw that I was just not playing with content. And I remember before I started getting on Instagram in like 2014, I was like I was always doing goofy face in the camera. Like I never would like pose or I would never like really experiment with content. And I really wanted to, but I had to get over this like hump of, is that superficial? Is that egotistical? Like, so yeah, it was kind of like why I wanted to do it. It was like I was missing from myself. We got so deep there. I'm just kidding. Cool. Okay. Megan was like, so relatable. Thank you, girl. Thanks. So wait, so now I want to know. Okay, actually, oh my gosh, I did this. I scrolled all the way to the bottom. So this is my first post. From here, you would think she is in quarantine because there's so much sourdough bread. But look at that coffee with the scone, you guys. Not that that's bad. I'm just like, let's be real. Yeah, exactly. I love that. Oh, I know. I was like super into carbs. And I was agonizing over these posts. Like first, okay, so that picture is like parrots that were in my backyard and I was freaking out, but I had to post it twice. I mean, who knows? I was figuring myself out. But there she was. So if you guys want to, and I don't know how this is actually going to work because there's a lot of you, but if you want to, find someone in the chat and privately message them. You can privately message them by putting their name after the two. And just be like, hey, can you look at my profile? Blah, blah, blah. I'll look at yours. And then maybe you guys can get some real feedback if you want to. Who wants to be mime? Okay, so Elizabeth, you can talk to Caroline. Caroline. Try it out. I mean, there's some open people. Ooh, wellness. Susie was like, wellness. Okay, I hope some of you guys are like just straight up DMing every single person here. I am kind of that person that would do that. All right, so my turn. Can I do it? Let's do this. Okay, I am going to do it I'm just gonna pick one. Tiok app. Tioko app. Okay, let's do it. All right. What I'm seeing is a lunchbox community. So I think it's an app that allows you to just get recipes for kids. And I see a kid there. So honestly, that reemphasizes it to me. But I think what I'm also saying, I was just about to say the word fun. I was like, it looks really fun that you are doing kids lunches, like really fun kids lunches. Maybe add that the word fun in there too. This is great. So is that pretty right on? I mean, that's kind of, will you tell me? Okay, that's totally true. Cool. Awesome. All right, let's do another one. Okay, so Simon. So that you are a bartender. I think you work at these two bars. And yeah, I feel like you also put some cocktails on here. So drinks and film. I don't really know what drinks and film is. I'm assuming that you make videos about cocktails. That's what I'm thinking. I hope that was helpful. I wonder if, I mean, it seems like this is really spot on too. But anyways, I hope that that's actually like something that you guys can try with other people, because it's just a good gut check on like, who am I? Am I doing this right? Like, am I really making what or communicating exactly what we do? Okay, so now you might be looking at your own profile, although these two were pretty good. So you might be thinking, I need a refresh. Because actually, to the point of, I guess, like if I think back on the app that I just saw, the only reason why I like mentally knew that it was for kids before I even had to read about it was because there was a kid in there. I don't know if that means anything for you, but that was something interesting. And then also with the bartender film, I'm wondering like, how can you communicate that more, if that's something you're trying to promote, or if that's like the reason why people should be following your content is because you're always coming out with drink cocktail stuff. So I guess what you can see right now is like, I'm trying to figure out like what you're doing, like what your goal is. And if you can just like spell that out if you want to, or if that was your point and that's your goal, then that would be something to work towards. So we are always thinking about a refresh. I mean, I'm thinking about a refresh all the time. And I think the first way to start doing this is to find your community so that you can strategically create content for them. So let's start with this. The people who are already talking to you, AKA the people who are commenting on your posts. So about 50% of you have actually said that you have set up a business Instagram account. And then I think like 15 or 10% of you guys said you have a creator account. That's great. So for you guys, you are going to be familiar with this next screen. For everyone else, you won't have access to this because you need to have a business Instagram account in order to see your insights like this. I also thought it was really funny that 2% of the people answered, I heard that changing to a business Instagram account will hurt the algorithm. That's not true. So I think actually, Lexi, you guys have like a post about that, how it doesn't affect it. Yeah. So So we're going to go to most commented posts. So if you go up into your screen and go hit your profile, I'm gonna share my screen right now. All right, so if you go to the top right, there's the hamburger menu, and then up here is insights, the third one down. And then you can see your posts. So I'm gonna click on see all. And then from here, you can sort it by lots of things. So I'm gonna sort it by comments. And I typically like to look at comments because that is like a really good indicator of your community. Because these are people who are taking the time to actually comment on the stuff that you do. And I think it's also a really good way to know, like, are you hitting that context, spin, part. So I have one here. This was a little while ago, but this was a girl boss post that I did. And there was about 200 comments. And so what I want you to do is look through your posts and look through the top commented posts, even if it only has 3 on there. Like, let's just start from somewhere, And I want you to look at the people, like everybody who's writing something, and see who they are. And then think about, like, why is it that you think people commented in this photo? Yeah, I mean, if all the top commented posts are pics of you, Eva, that's totally fine. Like, that's showing you that people like to see your mug. Because if you scroll down on the bottom, those are the least commented, right? And so that can also give you a clue as well. And if your followers, you have followers, but they aren't engaging, I think that's also a really good cue. Are you hitting the mark in terms of like creating engaging conversations? And that just takes time. Like, I'm not great at it either, but it's a good place to start. So when you're going through these comments, the first thing that you want to do is just like start clicking through and just being like, who are these people? And start saying, okay, so this person is a digital marketer, creative, is a slashy for sure. And then, right, so this one person is also, so a lot of like, small business founders, freelancers. And you can see here, this person's into web design, branding, collateral. So I think the next question is, like, while you're like looking at all these different people, you want to see, like, why do you think that they were commenting on that post? Like, what were you saying there? Were you tapping into a feeling that was happening out there? Was there any, like, did you have a specific perspective on it? And really like kind of dissect that. So for instance, for me, like, I think that a lot of people were commenting about this because I was talking about like burnout, and I was talking about just having to not do, like, I want to build a business, but I don't want to be burnt out again. That was kind of like the theme of it. And so I think, like, in terms of how that could be a theme, it's definitely more educational, and it's definitely more about my personal like life. So maybe I need to create more content in that world. When you start, looking at all of these different people, you want to see like who is engaging with them. What do they tag? Who do they mention? Do they go to different events? Do they eat? Like, y'all do this anyways. This is just stalking 101, but like, you're just going to do this for yourself. So like how I was doing this before. Okay, I'm looking at this girl, Marty. Wait, do I know Marty? She's a travel consultant. She has all of these other, oh yeah, I do know Marty. We know Marty from later. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Weird.
So So she's followed by Cass in the City, which is interesting. And this person is a Vietnamese entrepreneur. And like what you're doing is you're really seeing where are these rabbit holes? Like, how can I find more of these communities? Because like, look, I just like went to her account and there's even more people that are in this. So maybe there's something going on here. And like the whole goal of you is to like go through these rabbit holes, stalk the crap out of people, really see what these connections are and see what their posts are, see what's like how people are engaging with them. Because if people are engaging with posts that they do and they're in a similar like-minded community as you, then it's going to be the same thing for you. I mean, maybe not one for one, but it's a good place to start when you're creating content. So I'm going to go to this next one here. So when you're going through all of this, what I like to do, and this is why we created People Map. I start just making lists, like a ton of lists. I used to just kind of like keep them on my phone, but at some point I was like, I need to be more organized about this. So I would just like start tracking them on an Excel spreadsheet, and then that spreadsheet got crazy. So that's why I made People Map. But the whole point of this is you want to start doing list building. And if you're a marketing person, if you are a PR person, you know that this is so important. And this isn't just people you know. These are communities. These are connections. These are places that can give you ideas about content. So when you're going through that, just start listing them. And you can list them right here and add what words do they use in their bio? What comments have they written? What content categories are they responding to? So for example, these were just like a bunch of accounts that I was finding that I was like, okay, this is cool. This is someone that I should keep track of. And then when I was like looking at all of their accounts, I was also writing words that were in their bio, like creative, designer, freelance, content, brand, entrepreneur. And this just really helps you understand like, okay, these are the groups of people that are like following me, or this is my community. And if it's not, if like the words that you're getting and the accounts that you're seeing are just like, I don't know, like kind of all over the place, then that's just a good cue for you to like figure out, well, what do you want to pick? Like where do you want to just kind of try first? And then you can always expand out more. That's totally fine. What comments have they written? Wow. Beep. Been designing for 12 years and didn't know that. So there's like these aha moments that I potentially could be providing. And then what content categories do they respond to? It was a little bit of edutainment, a little bit of fashion. I didn't write fun, but I think like just like some fun. Some fun. That's pretty much it, I think. And then what I want you to do, and we do this across lots of different categories, not just community. Like you could do this for clients, potential partners. For example, if I made one of these for partners, later would obviously be on here. I want you to start finding those, from these people in your persona accounts. Find like some of the images that are just like, oh yeah, like this is my community, so that you can visualize it. So we added these 3 photos because these are people that have been engaging with me. And I'm just like, dang, that's awesome. Like this is, it's only 3 people, but that's just because it's only one slide. But like, this is a fun community and it kind of just makes it more real, So I think the next part that we want to chat about is, I got this comment or this DM because I'm sure some of you guys have seen my ads out there, but I got a comment for someone the other day that was like, hi, I never do this, but you seem nice. And I just wanted to say hi. And I wanted to, with Corona, I wanted to just kind of like make this experience more real. And I was like, whoa, that's awesome, because I know what it was like to reach out to strangers on Instagram. I'm sure a lot of you guys do it already because Instagram's been around since 2014 or before that. But for those of you that haven't felt real connection on Instagram, you got to pop in those DMs and you got to comment. You have to. Like, that's the only way that you can really feel like human connection on it. Otherwise, you're just scrolling and liking. I mean, literally, that's the only user behavior you're doing. So talk to strangers. Strangers are just like you. They actually are you. Y'all are strangers. I'm a stranger. We're all right. Their faces look like this. Some of them don't. Some of them are showing a lot of skin, but that's okay. That they have a community too. And I'm okay with that. You know, it's like, damn, that girl's got abs. Okay. So just make sure that please talk to strangers. And if you want to graduate to the next level, you can actually go meet that person in real life. I definitely have made a lot of great friends by like going to coffee and meeting people. Whoops. The way that I look at it is Instagram is basically the biggest conference ever, except you're on the toilet and you don't have to have pants on. You know, that's kind of great. Like, how many of you guys have been to a conference? Like, you paid money for a conference. You probably spent a lot of money on it. And yes, it was a great experience. You got super inspired. But like, how many people did you actually meet? That's harder. So what I usually do when I go to a conference, to me, this is like a conference too, right? There's just all these people at once that experience the same thing. I like go out of my way right after the conference and I comment and DM the crap out of people. Like just because you really want to, you know, develop that like relationship. So look at Instagram completely as the biggest conference ever and go, you know, walk yourself to exhibit D5 and be like, okay, you want to go get a corn dog at that nasty ass exhibit corn dog station? And then last of all, we're going to go into a Q&A right after this. But last, just don't take this so seriously. I wanted to show you guys a photo, my first photo of Muad'Dib wearing a hat. This is her. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. This was me. I was like, will you wear a hat? And like, I was just like, and then I took a picture really quick and there she is. And now look at her thriving. I think that if you can have fun with the whole thing, you're going to just experiment more. You're just going to have that time. You just need to give yourself that time to experiment. And I feel like all creatives understand this. And I think that's why like some people, not everybody, but some people are taking this time during quarantine to like really experiment and be more creative and just like do it, you know? You always go into these slumps. I go into slumps too. Like some days you can tell by my posting cadence. I don't post all the time because I don't feel like it all the time. So don't put pressure on yourself, but also kind of do because you want to, you know, challenge yourself and you do want to like try new things. And you want that hit of like, man, I made that. That was, no one's looking at it, but I made that. And I think the best thing to think about of, you know, Instagram, any content, TikTok, whatever, like email, what you're doing is you're making a piece of the internet. And that piece is solely you. And that piece is your perspectives of what's happening. And that content is a reflection of how you are doing it. And I think that's like the fun part. And like, that's something that I'm always trying to do is like, how can I use these digital platforms and use, the tools that we have to communicate my perspective. So thanks guys so much. Hope that was okay. Cool. Oh, hey, Margaret. Cupcake. Let's do some Q&As.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. And if you put like a little computer emoji by, that's cool. But if you don't, that's also cool. We're looking out for it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Puno, we've already pulled some questions for you that people have asked previously.
Where should I go? Thank you so much. Is it on the Notion?
Yeah. It's right under the Q&A portion.
Okay, sick. Here she is. Okay. Oh, okay. So Blue Sky 097 asks, how do you get people who have more social proof than you to engage with you in a more meaningful way? I mean, I am still not that big in my mind compared to like other influencers. And I reach out by trying to write a very meaningful comment. And this is the exercise that I do. And I do this exercise regardless if it's an Instagram comment, like any kind of writing. I always try to write in my voice. So after I write something, I say it out loud. And if it doesn't sound like me, then I edit it until it sounds like me. You want to be able to like, you don't want to just be like seeing somebody's thing and just being, that's cute. I mean, sometimes that's cute is totally fine. But if your goal is to try to make a meaningful connection, then you really want to like try and say something that you would say to that person in real life. Actually, Sean, you as the community curator, you're always commenting to people. And I feel like you're really great at it. Like how do you think about it?
I kind of would only write probably something I would say to them at a party, like try and make it really conversational. And
like, this party blows. Is that what you always say?
did you hear if they're gonna get another keg or not? Like, I always try to not just like leave it as like hot or cool. I'll try to be like, oh, this is really awesome. How did you light this? That way, it's like, I don't know, you're volleying with them. You're giving them something to work with and respond to versus just this is a beautiful photo, because then it's like cool, but that doesn't really invite conversation.
No. Mm-hmm. Should I just like, I'm wondering if I should do it live.
Yeah.
And just like, I'm going to find somebody that is not someone that I know. So, oh, dang, private. Can't comment on that. Oh, that's cute. An artist. She's an artist, the shallowness of sanity, cult collective. Hey, Sophia, you know her. Okay, so then I'm just gonna look at, oh my gosh, what is this? So first, no, one of my favorites of 2019, check out Waste Hazard for more. Like, I live. So this is what I would say to her. I'm already thinking like, if I saw this girl in person and we were like checking out each other's Instagram account, this is like what I would tell her. I'd be like, I live right by the Piñata district. And I've never done a shoot with a piñata. Like, that's so, duh. And then I'm going to connect Muad'Dib and be like, girl, let's do this. I'm talking to my cat. So, there you go. Yeah, so that's just an example. That's kind of like how I roll. I just like, "Meow, da, da, da." I'm not like, hey, follow for a follow, nothing like that. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. All right, next one. Oh, great question. In terms of transitioning a personal account into a business account, how do you broaden your community to outside your friends and family? So, like when I was trying to figure out if I should get on Instagram, first of all, I had an Android, so I wasn't sure I didn't know anything about Instagram. And one of the biggest questions I had was, should I have a personal Instagram account or should I just have a business one? I chose to have a personal and a business one because I don't know, I just, I didn't care if my personal one didn't grow. And I was like, I just want to experiment with it and play. So that's why I kept it. Just like food for thought. If you're, feeling like, which one should I do? I think it's okay to have both and just not have high expectations for the personal one because it's hard to grow two accounts. But you also can totally do that. In terms of let's say that, I am ready to take my personal account and make it my business account. That just takes time. And usually where I start is commenting and finding new audiences, and then definitely changing your content to be that. So that when, like I said before, when someone checks out your account, you got a couple seconds, because just you saw how I did it. I just look at the account. I don't even really scroll down too much. And I just kind of make a decision at that point. You all do it. That's all we do. So you have to be able to communicate right away, why you guys are in the same community. So if you're a UX consultant coach, just using the person I saw in there, then maybe the people that you're trying to find in, okay, let's do a little hypothetical. Let's say the UX coach Instagram account was originally her personal one. And then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna be self-employed and I'm gonna be a coach. And she's like, okay, but I have grandma following me and I've just got friends from high school following me. So how do I make that transition? Well, if I were you, I would start writing posts that are helpful for your potential community. So those could be designers. Those could be other businesses that are e-commerce based or web based. So I'm just thinking of those two right now. And I would start finding those accounts and seeing what they pay attention to, and then creating more content that's in that world. And then I would start commenting and networking as if this was the biggest design conference ever, and finding all of those other people and start making relationships with them. Because once you start making relationships with them, then the collaborations can really start happening. And those collaborations are also ways for you to grow your account. I mean, we can go into that. That's a whole other thing. Actually, I wonder if I should show this campaign on People Map, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is Muad'Dib the cat's Instagram account. And this is her followers growing. So we're looking at People Map right now. And you can see below, these are kind of some campaigns that have happened, or mentions, however you'd like to think of it. And I really want to see what are these big jumps here? Because oftentimes, for example, like this, there are other people mentioning you that are in your world. Granted, she's a cat, so it's a little easier, but still, girl's got to work for it. She had to do a photo shoot and cut up apples and all sorts of stuff. So in this case, Girl Boss mentioned it, and you can see how that makes a big difference. But it's how would Girl Boss know about you? The way that I do it is I start networking and commenting and finding, just stalking the shit out of girl boss and figuring out how to like make meaningful connections with them. And, you know, at I Love Creatives, I can tell you, and Sean, you can probably say this too, like we take notice of people that are actively engaging with us all the time. And whether or not we, you know, if it's someone that makes sense for us, like we're always thinking about like, how can we collaborate with them if it, you know, if it makes sense, right? Wouldn't you say so?
Oh, definitely.
Sean?
Yeah. We do our research and like see who's involved in what, like community or business. And if they're really thoughtfully responding, we definitely pay attention to that.
Yeah. I was like, I want to look at who O Cocoon is. Oh, look at this little doggy. Oh, wait, you did too. She did share. She shared Muad'Dib's account. Just saying. Okay. Thank you. Thanks, girl. Yes, it's a cat account. All right. Next question. Let's do, we've got 7 more minutes. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait, we kind of just talked about this. This is from Trey Monroe. I have one Instagram account for my fitness and wellness, and then I have a music band, and then I have a digital record label, and I do comedy skits and posts, and then lesser posts on things that I find interesting or just like feels. I don't want more than one account, and I want to figure out a way to make it work in one account alone. Is that possible? Totally. I mean, like I am major slashy too. I guess what's the common thread of it all? That's like the big thing. And with Sean, when he was looking at my account, he was saying it's fun and approachable and doesn't take itself too seriously. That's kind of like the common thread. It's the common thread with me. I think one thing that it didn't have in there, to his point when he was looking at my bio, is it doesn't talk about how I'm a designer, and it doesn't really talk about how I try to help people learn things. So maybe I need a right teacher on there. I should do that, actually. Krisha's nodding her head. Yes, duh. But okay, sorry, talking about you. So what is that common thread? Like, what is the thing that kind of like brings it all together? And if not, the other strategy is, which one do you care about more? So for me, I think it's really important. I hope that whenever anyone looks at, you know, I Love Creatives, and they see that, you know, I'm the person behind it, or anybody who works with us, they're the people behind it, that we're nice and we're like approachable and we're fun, because all of our products are that too. And so to me, that's the common thread that's super important, and I don't want to lose that. So you can always think about that. But if you're like, you know what though, I mean, I really just want to go all in on my digital record label, then maybe that's what's going to take most of it. And all these little things are just like fun stuff, you know, every now and then. It's your sourdough bread that you made every now and then just because. And that's totally fine. But think about it from someone who just visits your profile for the first time. What do you want them to feel? Like, what do you want them to say? And that's why I really think it's important for you guys to like ask other people, because that's just user testing, you know? I just saw really quickly that someone said, what is a ratio between feed and stories? I mean, it's really up to you, honestly. Lexi, what do you think about that? Because I personally don't think that there's like a magic number. If you were going to ask any consultant, they will say all.
Yeah.
Do it all the time.
We always say like the best frequency is the frequency that you can keep up with consistently. I know that sounds super like, but it's true. Like whatever you can keep up with. I mean, if you're just like putting out a bunch of content every day for the sake of putting it out every day, it might not be your very best. Instead, maybe you could do like 3 really quality posts. Stories, like it's a little bit more like you can kind of go wild with it. Don't be one of those people with like 100 dots over the screen, but you know, it's just think about, you know, how you engage with stories too. Like, are you getting bored clicking through? Are you swiping past? kind of try to find that sweet spot and use your analytics. That could be a whole different thing, but.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. We should totally do one just on analytics.
Yeah.
Because there's
like
so
much
fun. Oh yeah. She's like, not right now. She's like, I got to talk about TikTok next. But yeah, I think that it really is about what you can consistently do. When I first started, I really wanted to just be, I wanted to figure this out. And I knew that I didn't know it. I mean, you saw how many bread photos there were. And I only had friends that were following me. So what I did was, and you don't have to do this, I'm just telling you what I did. For 6 months, I posted every day on my Instagram, my personal Instagram account, and on my business Instagram account. So that was 2 hours of my life a day. Now, how can I do that? Well, I quit my job, so I didn't have work. So it's like, obviously, that's how she could do it. But still, that was really hard. Like, there would be days where I was like, I don't want to do this. But because I was so new at it and I was still figuring it out, I didn't want to lose that momentum, because I know myself, when I lose momentum, it takes like 2 to 4 weeks to get back on the saddle, sometimes 5 years. Talking about something else, but anyways, like there's just there's something to be said about keeping that momentum when you're in the beginning and when you're learning things. You want to, you don't want to lose that, because it's a force, and it helps you. But yeah, cool. Okay, so let's see. We have one more question. Let's do this. Oh, whoa, this is a really big question. I don't know if should we do this one? How do you deal with this? Oh, okay. How do you deal with a situation when your followers are mostly not part of your desired community? That is such a great question, because I had a friend who was an influencer and then turned into a business. And she was like, I don't want to be in front of the camera anymore. I just want to make my product. And I was like, and this is going to go against a lot of the things that I said, but it was like, obviously people love your face. That's why they're following you. So it's just I just told her, I was like, it's just going to be harder if you don't show your face. And she's like, I know, but I just don't want that. And so I was like, that's cool. Honestly, if that's not what you want, then you have to train your audience to like this new thing. And what's going to happen? This is exactly what happened to her. For a year and a half, she was losing followers. Her engagement was crap. But she just kept consistently posting and training her audience to dig the business and kind of forget about her. But every now and then she posts a photo of herself and it goes bonkers. So anyways, but I think that if that's your, prerogative, if that's what you want to do, then that is what you want to do. And that's totally fine. There is no, with Instagram, with digital, with marketing, there's no rule. The rule is just what you make it. And to be honest, and I feel and I'm really going to be preaching right now, but I think with Corona, what we're all experiencing right now is a really imperfect situation. And we're all just like that dog in the fire, and it's just this is fine. But what that is giving you is this experience and these skills to mitigate and deal with an imperfect situation. And some of that is your own, the stuff that you're imposing on yourself. I don't want to put my face on my Instagram account, but I have all these followers that only want that. So you just have to go with what resources you have, stay the path, because that's what you want, and just keep trying, be consistent about it. And eventually your audience will change. but you have to be consistent about it. I mean, obviously, like the faster you do it, the more you do it, the more frequent you do it, the faster it'll happen. Easier said than done, but sometimes you just need a reminder. I was talking to a friend the other day about why do I always forget when I'm on my period and I'm like hormonal? It's just, it boggles my mind that I just forget. I'm just like, so if I can forget that experience, could you imagine if an alien felt that way? They'd be like, what the fuck is this? Like they would not forget that. But for me, I always forget it. So then can you imagine all the other simple things that I forget, like consistency and, eat healthy and drink water so your lips aren't chapped, like all of those things. Anyways, what I'm saying is you just need a reminder because you forget your periods. I feel like some people know what I'm talking about. Cool. All right. Well, this is fun. Thank you guys for letting me rant. And I wanted to give you, before we all go, I wanted to give you guys a special treat. Hold on. Let's do this. So this is later.com. How many of you guys use Later in the chat? Cool. Never heard of it. Groovy. Yeah, the period thing. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you use it for your clients. Yes. So here's another reason why you need a business Instagram account, because you can't access your analytics without it. So, or you can't post automatically. Both?
Yep, post automatically.
Post automatically. So yeah, we use it. The reason why I like it is because not all platforms are cheap. Like, I don't mean like cheap, like not useful, but affordable. There's a lot of ones out there that are like $2,000 a month. Like I was like, what? But this is really affordable and it's across multiple platforms. So if you have Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, you can do that way. And yeah, I don't know if Lexi, if you wanted to say, oh yeah. And if you want, you can get a free month with Later. You just have to use this code. I don't believe if you already have an account, it's not gonna be for that. Yeah. She's like, obviously, you guys are fans.
First month's free.
But yeah, it's like, I would just try it out anyways. Like, even if you're like, no, I love whatever platform I use, just try it. It's only a free month. And it's like a good way for you to see what kind of tools are out there. And then if you want, you can also have a free trial of People Map. These links are in the Google Drive or the Google Slides. And then of course, if you have any questions about I Love Creatives, or I don't know, you just want to tell us like, that was great. Thank you guys so much. We really like those. We also like the feedback, the good feedback too. But we're here for you, and you can email us at hello@ilovecreatives.com. Thank you guys so much for all of this. This is really fun. That's right. Shoot, I forgot to say. The full course, like the full course is coming. We're still working on it. Krisha is actually like just finished editing it, but we have to like, make a portal and all that stuff. But you can watch the lesson chapter 3 on later.com. And I think you guys will get an email about that. It's a little different from what we did today, but cool.
No, yeah,
Thank you.
We're going to be sending a follow-up email. If there's anything that you missed, we'll be sending through that full Later lesson that you can get. And thank you so much, Lexi and Later, for collaborating with us on this. We're going to be doing some more live events, so you can always check those out at ilovecreatives.com. And if you have any questions, email hello@ilovecreatives.com, and I'm probably the guy that's going to answer you. So it was so nice seeing everybody.
Bye.